Good evening, all you villains out there. We are finally back with the Wednesday Webcam Weekly. I, of course, as always, am Levi Lalonde, and I've got with me my good buddy and mentor, Mr. Kyle Wright. Kyle, how are you doing this evening, man?
I'm doing great, Levi. Excited for this awesome switch up of the format we have here today.
Yeah. In addition to a brand new caster on the lineup tonight, we've got a whole new format as well on the horizon. Tonight, we're going to be playing without any set one cards except for the DLC, I believe. Where no booster packs, no other promos, no rival decks. Basically, everything with the set one watermark down below is gone except for DLC. So you tongue whip enthusiasts out there can still go crazy. But aside from that, all those other characters, all those other attacks, foundations, everything else gone with the wind, and I think it's going to make for a really interesting little event tonight. What are some of the things that you expect to see, Kyle?
Well, I'm expecting to see, first of all, just a wide variety of competitive lists. I think a lot of characters that we are not used to seeing suddenly crawl out of the depths and become very top tier, very strong characters in this format without set one. And I think that's going to be very cool to see some characters that maybe haven't gotten to shine as much do some work.
I think we're going to see some real contenders come out of the woodwork. I think there's going to be a really cool combination of really established main decks coming out, playing new characters. You know, a lot of people have talked about, when Ojiro gets his hit, right? We're going to go and we're going to play Sato 1. We're going to play, Aoyama run, right? We're going to play characters like that, although those guys aren't also here tonight, but we might see, some Midoriya 2s, some Midoriya 3s, basically anyone who can play that very established package. Death Fury, I think, is another super popular package that you can slap onto a lot of post-set one characters. And I think we're going to see just a lot of characters that have never really been able to see the light of day, especially in like the set one format where aggro is so strong. A lot of these guys that it's tough for them to see turn 3 and then they really start to pop off. Like, Shigaraki 3 is probably the best example of that, as this brand new character who feels very strong, but in a world where he can't get to that guaranteed mid game that he wants to at least find every game, it's a lot harder for him to survive. In a world like this, we might see something very different.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's going to be a wild lineup. I'm personally excited to see some of these May decks, possibly this Midnight, there's several different decks that I think are going to be very cool to see.
You can definitely get me excited for some May decks, man. Weapon decks with no set one, I'm feasting. What do we do without Eraserhead? I'm excited to see what they're cooking up with. But as awesome as this event is looking tonight, Kyle and I do have a lot of really cool things to talk to y'all about that have been happening in either the last couple of weeks or so or the last couple of days or so. I think we're going to kick off the discussion tonight, time traveling a little bit further into the past. We had a regional license exam. We had the first in-person regional license exam. Kissimmee, Florida was an action-packed world. We saw a ton of crazy things coming out of the gate, even in this, this prophesized Ojiro-dominated world. Man, our top cuts was a vast array of known entities, unknown entities. I mean, Ochako 2 won the entire event. All Might True Form was probably the most talked about deck in the room. We saw a Kurogiri 1 deck centered around the League of Villains bar. I know that you weren't there with us in person, Kyle, so I had a lot more exposure to things. But it definitely was not the RLE a lot of us expected, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Even I, who does everything they can to fight some of the aggro decks in the format, kind of expected Ojiro to just run the field due to the mixture of his popularity and his strength, right? But we saw a lot of players adapt and a lot of players choose to play the decks that they wanted to play. And Ojiro, while he still had a good representation in the top cuts, obviously did not quite make it there. And we got to see some very unique and very cool decks, including that that All Might deck, which I thought personally was very cool.
That was definitely like the surprise home run of the event. We also saw an Earth Death Arms deck that was very like defensive committal heavy, make its way into the top 16. We saw a Todoroki 1 deck make its way into the top 16. There were a lot of really really surprise home run hitters. The All Might deck, though, man, I remember. So I didn't cast the first time that All Might deck came on stream. It came on stream day one, and it's so funny because they told us. I wasn't casting around. It was Sam Tate and it was Nilmer, and they told us that they were getting the True Form All Might deck, the one shot, the one punch All Might deck on stream, going against Recovery Girl, who the night before had taken all of the speed resets out of their deck, and I was like, this is gonna be a spectacle. And then I kid you not, in the realm of like 15 minutes, he one shot Recovery Girl twice. Game 1, game 2, one shot, and then the round was over. He played 2 attacks the whole round. And I was like, this might be the craziest new thing to come out of the game right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see this top. And then we saw him go through a really, really, really crazy top cut run. I think the craziest part about that guy's top cut run was his top 16 and his top 8 game were against the Todoroki 1 deck, and then Broberg on Eraserhead. Those should be like the 2 counters to that deck, right? And he just blitzed through them.
Yeah, I mean that's wild, and that's cool. That even despite where the format may or may not be at the moment, we still can. This game is good enough that we can still see these wild and cool, interesting decks come out and have really strong showings.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at that top cut bracket, man, we had 2 Ojoros and then 14 other like totally different decks. The Ojoros were even on different symbols if you want to go that far into it. And of course, if you do want to check out all of that top 16 and those deck lists, we do have an article on the website that you can point yourself towards if you want to get a more in-depth look at some of those lists. But all in all, it was a super duper fun event. I'm excited for the future of regional license exams coming this season. But you know what I'm the most excited about in the future right now, Kyle?
What's that, Levi?
All of the amazing, amazing things that we showed off at Gamma over these past couple days. Holy cow, am I excited for the Undaunted raid. Set 5 has finally, we've gotten some visual, we've gotten some clarification. We have our first look at the amazing things coming in this brand new set based off of the overhaul Yakuza raid arc. Man, I'm so excited, Kyle.
Same here. This arc was so cool in the show, and I'm very excited to see a lot of these characters are gonna be coming.
I think that if you ask someone who their most anticipated characters were, like there was a very, very solid chance that one of the most popular answers you were going to get was either Overhaul, Lemillion, or both of those. And lo and behold, we have already seen both of those shown off at Gamma and in this article. These guys look so sick. This is probably going to be the coolest rival deck that we have seen yet. Overhaul being this really, really intricate character that's going to put cards into his stage, play things from his stage, and really just be this like a transmutating like monster of a god, really, really reflective of his Overhaul quirk, letting him, reconstruct, debuild, rebuild, play with matter as he wills. And then when he does get to touch you, he gets to heal himself and put more damage on. Very indicative of how it is in the show, right? If he touches you, it's game over, and he can restore himself. I feel like they captured all of his elements really, really well in this character card.
Oh, absolutely. I would totally agree. I also I think it's very cool that it feels, based off of how these characters are, that they kind of wanted to have one character that was more complicated and intricate and one character that was more simple. So it sort of feels like they designed this one, personally, when I look at it, for a more experienced player to play the Overhaul deck and a newer player to play the Mirio deck, so that both players kind of get to have fun at the level that they're playing at, which I think is very, very cool.
You're so right, Kyle. Mirio is definitely not as intricate and complex. He's got a lot less moving parts than Overhaul does, but he's a really, really simple guy, and I think that's going to be really attractive to a lot of the new players. Just being able to put a bunch of damage on your moves. He hits hard. He gets to change his zones. He's flying all around you and permeating. He's so hard to block. Your blocks are going right through him, and then he just gets to fizzle out attacks. I think he's a very, very simple, but also a very, very strong character that I think, just like you said, man, it's going to be perfect for new players to get their hands on.
For sure. I wouldn't be surprised if one or both of these characters saw play in the future. Obviously, pending what their support looks like and what the rest of the set looks like, right? But I would not be surprised if one or both of them
Not at all. Not at
lot
all.
of play.
Yeah, Mirio is he's not coming alone though, right? He's got his two best buddies with him. He's got Amajiki and Nejire with him. I think these two are really, really interesting. Also, both very, very interesting and cool reflections of their quirk, right? Hado literally using her life force to make her waves, permanently reducing your maximum health is, I don't think, something that's been explored in the world of MHA just yet, as opposed to the old world that we come from. So that's super cool to see. And of course, resident second, your momentum is a second hand, enjoy your Levi. Amajiki is, I looked at this character, Kyle, and I say, did I design this character and forget?
Oh yeah, this definitely seems like a Levi character for sure. lots of intricate plays that I'm seeing just on his face. Lots of cool interaction and gameplay. And I think the cool part about this character is, at least to me, it looks like this character will be able to play the game very well at both ends of the spectrum, just based off of how his abilities read. You know, he's going to be very good at killing players, but he's also going to be very good at playing out that long game.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited to see what people do with all four of these. I'm really excited to see the rest of their cards. Hopefully very, very soon we get to show you guys some more stuff. But either way, there's tons and tons to be excited for in Undaunted Raid. But there's a lot more going on in this set new than just the cards themselves. We have a couple changes, a couple new and old things coming in with this set. And the first thing is the booster packs are going from 10 to 11 cards, now throwing in a character card in each pack. If you might have noticed when we looked at those character cards there, Amajiki and Hado both say character rare on the bottom of their rarity slot. The character is now going to be its very own rarity, which is going to make sealed and draft play so much easier.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is a great change in my opinion. It's going to make, like you said, sealed and draft play so much easier, but also it's just going to make procuring all of the character cards just a little bit easier, which is always nice collecting cards easier. And the other thing, because they're not taking up an uncommon slot, the uncommons are going to be a lot easier to grab now as well, which is very cool.
It's probably pretty likely to get every single character when you buy a box now, and that's super duper hype. But you spoke a little bit about collecting cards there, Kyle, and there's something big for the collectors in this. And of course, it's going to be the return of our Chrome rares. You remember them back from Heroes Clash? They were the talk of the town. We had some of the biggest boys out there cracking Chromes, and it was the Chrome rare tracker. It was so exciting. We saw so many cases get dug into on the hunt for these bad boys, and it was a very, very wild ride. And Undaunted Raid is going to be bringing back those Chrome rares. But it's not the only big thing they're bringing back, or I shouldn't say bringing back, but I should say expanded upon. I'm, of course, talking about secret rares. Kyle, tell me about the secret rares in Undaunted Raid.
Oh, yeah. The secret rare changes are great. So previously, in your cases, you would be getting 3 secret rares, 2, and then an XSR version. But now it looks like they're adjusting the average to 6 per case, plus the potential for more. Based off of your XSR pulls, and they're bumping up the count of the secret rares to 6 as well. So it looks like you'll probably get 1 of each, or roughly per case, which is very, very cool.
I'm super hyped to see more secret rares. I think secret rares are a really, really cool design space. Being able to give the, these big, super cool standout moment type cards to even more characters every set is going to be really, really wicked. And in general, just getting more bang for your buck when you're buying cases now is really, really, really going to be fantastic. And speaking about bang for your buck, things are getting a little more simpler in terms of that too, because when it comes to collecting, there's not going to be two versions anymore, guys. Set 5, of course, if you watch the roadmap video a little bit way back in the day with Tyrell, Paul, and Luhan, you remember that starting from set 5 onward, there is no more different print runs. No first ed, no first unlimited, no first ed, no unlimited. It is just one singular type of set. And I'm pretty happy about that too. I think it was an interesting distinction that I think some of the collectors might have enjoyed, but honestly, Kyle, it made sorting cards a headache for me.
Oh yeah, for sure. Sorting cards was obviously very difficult, and also just if you wanted a set of unlimited or a set of first edition in the past, there was always problems that came up with it. Either you were hunting down boxes of first ed, right, or you had to wait X amount of time for unlimited to drop, and so there was never really a good route for you to take to get all of the same version. Well, now that's just not a problem anymore. It's a great change for the majority of players, I think.
I agree. I think it simplifies things a lot, just like some more of these changes coming in set 5 onwards. There's not going to be any Quirk pack cards as the box toppers in the set themselves, and there's also not going to be a DLC associated with this set either. The tagline that Jasco says in this article is doing fewer things and doing them better, and I'm a big fan of that. It's a lot less different promos to try and track down. It's a lot less different alternative products. The fact that I can just take my whole wallet and throw it at the set itself just makes things a lot easier on my brain, and especially on the newer players.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. There was definitely a little bit of product fatigue in a way in the past, shall we say, because there were just so many different things you wanted to get, and sometimes you were incentivized to get it for one card. Sometimes you were incentivized to get it for lots of cards. Well, now because we're putting it to just the individual box and starter decks, it's a lot simpler, I think, to get into this game.
One of my favorite moments at the Florida Regional License Exam was Cindy Moon, someone working with Unfun Stuff. She's a bit of a newer player. Asked me, "Hey, what's the difference between this promo and this promo?" And she had like a whole stack of cards, and I was like, "Well, you see, this card's in the set itself. Then this is a promo, but it's actually from a DLC. Then this says promo, but it's from this Plus Ultra pack that you get at locals. Then this is a promo, but you go to a provisional store championship to get it. Then this is a promo, but you have to redeem for it. And then this is a promo that you have to get." And she was like, "Bro, you're kind of stressing me out." And I was like, yep, let's do fewer things and do them better.
Absolutely. It's a good way to go about things.
Simplicity is the name of the game from Undaunted Raid onwards, and there's one last little bitty change that they're doing, is that pre-release kits are now going to be individually packaged. Some of you out there might have seen that image already, but the pre-release packs along with their pre-release promo kind of going to come in their own little thing now, and it just makes it a lot easier for stores to run. On top of now having a character in every pack, I think stores running sealed events is going to be like an absolute breeze from here on out.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Sealed is going to be a lot smoother, and people are going to be able to do things that are done in many different games, like hold their draft decks and keep them together to play later, which I know I do a lot of times when I play in draft events in the games that I play.
Yeah, we're gonna be able to draft like the big boys now, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's fantastic. All in all, the future from the changes in Undaunted Raid looking very, very bright. And while, make sure nobody's looking, Kyle, nobody's listening, I can't tell you guys too much, but Jasco is very, very happy to announce that in the fourth quarter of 2023, the 6th set of the My Hero Academia collectible card game Jet Burn is going to be dropping. And I'm sure that Kyle and I could spend a whole heaping amount of time speculating on what that means. And he could try and pry all of the juicy details out of me. But that's all I'm relenting for now. I hope you're happy with that, Kyle.
Oh, I'll never be happy with that.
But you guys have a lot to look forward to between the timeline of Undaunted Raid to Jet Burn. I think is going to be a very exciting time for the game, and I really cannot wait to see all of the stuff that Jasko has to pump out in the future of the game right now.
For sure.
Yep. But, guys, that is very, very far off into the future. I'm going to dial it back a little bit, bring us back to kind of our present day, or rather, I should say the very, very near future is that in just a few weeks, guys, we're going to be reuniting. The class is going to be getting back together for a very, very special little box set. This thing has been in the pipelines for quite a while now, and man, it feels almost surreal to see this finally coming into fruition, right? To see all of these super cool sleeves, to see all of these amazing these dice markers, these trackers, these counters. This pack is just chock full of things for new players, old players, collectors alike, and of course for everyone who wants those sweet promo cards that lie inside of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm personally super excited about the zone dice. A lot of people use different stuff. I personally use dice to mark my cards, and being able to designate between the zones is just going to be a super nice thing that I wasn't able to do before because I used dice. On top of that, all of these sleeves look absolutely fantastic. I'm very excited about the sleeves.
Kyle, right. I am so personally offended that the first thing out of this pack that you didn't talk to me about was the card with Monetta's face on it.
It doesn't have water, man.
Oh my god, he's cracked the code. He's too enlightened for me, man. Yeah, there's a lot to love in this box set, and I'm really excited to show off a bit more of it to you guys in the very, very coming days. But of course, near future, far future, past, right here, right now, there is one thing that you can always be doing, and that's hitting up your local game stores, guys. That's hitting up your local game stores, whether it be for the big provisional store championships or just for your simple local tiers of play, whether you're collecting these foil provisional showdown promos and your national invites, or you're just simply collecting your plus ultra packs and your loyalty points that you can redeem things on the loyalty shop. There's never a way to not be fulfilling the MHA CCG's game plan one way or another.
Absolutely. Always support your local games store, guys. Support where you play.
That is where it always begins, at your local game stores, guys. So thank you all so much for hanging out with us during this pre-show, but we've got to get ready for this awesome Wednesday Webcam Weekly tournament coming up very, very, very soon. So as a reminder, guys, of course, support your local game stores, hit up your provisional store championships, get your national invites, hit up nationals, get your regional license exam trips going, get all the boys together, get your road trips, road tripping, collect some chibi promos, and have a great time like we did in this past weekend at Kissimmee, and like we will in our next in-person event in the US at Kansas City or in the UK at Sheffield. Tons of stuff to look forward to. But for now, look forward to an awesome night of No Set 1 Wednesday Webcam Weekly action. Kyle and I will be right back.